Hello everyone, my name is Hugo and welcome back to my channel. First of all, I want to apologize because I said I would be back with like weekly videos, but I figured out that that is going to be very difficult for me to maintain with the full-time job, lots of stress, and I just didn't, my head isn't always in the mood for like recording and be all like, hi everyone. So sometimes I'm not in the mood for recording, and I think I will try to at least upload bi-weekly. So every other week on Wednesday I will upload a video. If I notice that doing that gets me more in the routine of editing and recording, I might go back to weekly, but for now I'm gonna do bi-weekly just to have some kind of consistency at least of recording videos, and you guys have something to expect. I don't want to say look forward to, but then you can kind of expect when I will upload, and not just sporadically in a couple weeks one and then a couple weeks later again. So that being said, every other week a video is the plan. No promises though. Okay, sorry if I'm all sweaty. It's very hot here. We're like in the middle of a heat wave, and most of Europe is, most of the world is, I figure. So what are we going to talk about today? I'm going to talk about just some fun books that are just a fun ride, and so they're not too deep, they're not too philosophical, psychological, they're not too scary or disturbing or whatever. They're just a fun, enjoyable ride, which I think is important every now and then. Not every book needs to have some kind of deeper meaning or needs to leave some deep impact on your life or way of living, or etc, etc. So every now and then we deserve to just read a very fun book. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. I got one nonfiction on here. I will get that over with first, just because I want to show like sometimes a nonfiction can be fun too. I got Sapiens by Yuval Harrari. It's a book about the history of humankind, and he starts all the way in the beginning and goes all the way to the present. It goes to all the periods, and I read this way back. I'm not sure if I ever finished it because I started reading it years ago, but I remember getting at least like pretty far in, and I want to get back to it if I didn't finish it. But yeah, this is a really fun book. It's like you just learn, but in an easy and lighter way. So that's why this is on this list. Then next I got a Stephen King book. We got Christine. And the reason I put this on here, it's a little scary, but also not too scary, because for me at least, I couldn't really take this seriously, this book, because it's about a car and it's just very unbelievable. So, and like there's some stuff happening that kind of sometimes takes you out of like the horror of everything. And it's supposed to be a scary book, but for me it was just a fun book. It's kind of funny, and I really enjoyed it. I think I gave this 4 stars because it's not perfect. It's not a perfect horror story. It's not a comedy. It's not supposed to be, but it sometimes just made me chuckle out loud. So this is why it's on it. If you don't know what this is about a dude buying a car, and I forgot what kind of car it was. Yeah, I don't remember what kind of car. It doesn't matter. So he buys this car, and the car is kind of sentient. So the car tries to control this guy and influence, and it drives him away from his best friend. It drives him away from his girlfriend and his parents, etc. And it's kind of scary because the car goes on a killing streak and stuff like that, or tries to. That's what the book is about. As you can see, as you can hear, like just don't take it too seriously. Then I got a book that's only gonna be fun if you've watched the shows. It's The Rise of Kyoshi by FCE. If you watch The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra, this is gonna be very fun because it's got a lot of references to it. You meet characters that they talk about in the shows, and yeah, it's just very fun. It's about Kiyoshi discovering that she's the Avatar, and also just discovering more and more about her identity. And yeah, that's kind of what it's about. But you see like new ways of bending, you see like new sort of groups, and it's before the Fire Nation War. So it's just very interesting to read, but it's also just very fun. Then next I'm gonna do these at once because I just got Andy Weir's books. I got The Martian and Project Hail Mary. I can't decide which one I prefer. This one is kind of nostalgic, so I always want to say The Martian is better. But then this one is just really, really well done. And I read this one quicker than I read The Martian, and it's like 200 pages more. But they're both very light reads. And they're comical, so they're pretty funny. It's about a main character, it's first person, it's diary-like. Especially The Martian is definitely like reading a diary. But it's just very fun. It's about space, it's science fiction, but it's very focused on the science, but in a fun way. Especially Mark Watney is always joking around. So yeah, that's why these two are on here. They're very famous books, obviously. If you haven't read them for some reason, or only read The Martian, haven't read this one, I really recommend this if you're looking for something fun in between all those deep, meaningful books that you're reading. Then next is kind of, it's not cheating, it's just a series. It's just a Mistborn trilogy, so all three of these books are pretty fun. I would say the first one and the last one are the more fun books, and then the second one, The Well of Ascension, is more focused on like politics and stuff like that, but it's my favorite. But in the sense of this video, the more fun books are probably the first one and the Hero of Ages. So, well, no, The Final Empire and the Hero of Ages. They're the most fun one. They got the most epic battles and stuff, but The Well of Ascension was my favorite. So it's by Brandon Sanderson. You've probably heard of this. If you haven't, I don't know what to tell you. It's got a very interesting magic system with metals and different kind of like burning metals inside your body. It does different kinds of things. And yeah, like I wouldn't look up too much, go in blindly, and it's very interesting, it's very cool. If you like Avatar: The Last Airbender, you will like this one. So. And then lastly, I put a comic book on here since lately I've been into comics a lot. And I put the IDW ongoing series of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on here. First of all, I adore this fucking book. It's so beautiful, and I love the art inside too. Comics are obviously always fun. They're very light because they got lots of pictures, not a lot of text. But I put this one on here specifically because if you go into Marvel or DC, it can be very overwhelming if you're starting out. At least I was. Sorry, I'm covering my mic sometimes. So it can be very overwhelming because there's all these different starting points. They reboot the series every now and then. There's multiverses, there's this, there's that. With this, you don't really have to think about it, and it's just plain old comedy / action, but still very adult, like this series at least. Because there's like violence that isn't really for kids. But it's still funny. It's got like an emotional impact to it sometimes, because especially if you have like lots of siblings, because it's very like we're a family, and I like that. But it's just plain old fun, and it's very nostalgic to me. I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like I've loved them for as long as I can remember, pretty much. So they will always mean something. But I never got into the newer comics, so that's why that's on here. I recommend this a lot if you are looking into reading a graphic novel or a comic book, but don't want to get into the whole DC or Marvel shebang, then I would really recommend this. And those were all my recommendations for the fun books to read if you're looking for something light. Yeah, I didn't put a lot in here, but I think it's plenty. And I just think it's important to read fun books every now and then, to just have a blast reading, instead of forcing yourself to read certain books because of certain expectations or because you need to learn lessons from them or whatever. You don't always go into movies like that or video games. You go into those for fun. So why not with books too? So I just think that's a very important factor of reading too, just to have fun. And these books made me have fun a lot, so that's why they're on there. I thank you for watching. If you want to support me, subscribe, like the video, leave a comment on which one you think are fun books, or have you read any of these? If you're into comics, do you think the Turtles is a good comic to start on instead of like DC or Marvel? Let me know all of that down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.